I mean, how anyone can sit back and continue to defend Mike Tomlin and continue to, give him chance after chance after chance after chance, it just appalls me, man. It really does. Because a performance like this today, where it's December, you come into this game 7-6, a very overrated 7-6, I should add. Okay? You're in you're in the hunt for a playoff spot. One of your division rivals won earlier today, okay? And they come into your place next Saturday night for your final home game of the year, and you completely just get dominated, embarrassed, completely just torn apart, ripped a new asshole, whatever you want to say. And you're now 7-7, 0-3 in the month of December, the most important month of the season for playoff positioning. Next week's game, okay, it went from, I guess you can say it's still a matchup of playoff positioning, but it's just for the other team. What's going on, everybody? I am Mac, back with another video. As always, do me a favor, like, comment, subscribe, follow on Instagram. Link is in the box below. Once again, thank you all for tuning into my stream. I was very reluctant to do it today. As you could see, I just didn't want to do it because a performance like this is what I expected, okay? It's exactly what I expected. So why am I not mad? Why am I not screaming? Why am I not hollering? Because I learned something over the years of being a YouTube content creator, okay? You cannot get mad if you have no expectations. And that's what I came into tonight's game for. No expectations, no enthusiasm, no nothing. That's why I was reluctant to even do the stream. Okay? And my attitude on the stream perfectly showcases what the Steelers did on the field tonight. You want positives for tonight's game? Go elsewhere, because this channel is not about me being a homer. This channel is not about me sitting down here just having an agenda for my football team. This channel is a dose of reality. This channel is truth and facts and hardcore knowledge about the Pittsburgh Steelers. And the fact of the matter is, this is the worst Pittsburgh Steelers team that I have seen in my almost 22 years of being a fan. The 03 team was awful too. Don't get me wrong. That was a 6-10 team back in 03. That was a bad team too. But at least you could give them the benefit of the doubt because they had a lot of injuries that season, and they were doubtful if Jerome Bettis could even go another season, who was the rock, who was the anchor of the offense, and Tommy Maddox just had a fluke 02 season, okay? So if you want positives, I suggest you go elsewhere. But if you want it from me, okay, well, it's the same shit every single week with the offense. They get a good start on offense, okay? Mitch Trubisky snuck in a touchdown on 4th and goal today. If you saw it, it was, initially I thought it was a fumble by Trubisky and was picked up by Najee Harris for a score. But if you look at the replay, yes, Mitch did fumble the ball, but the ball was over the plane before he even fumbled it. So that is a touchdown. They got that right. And then Boswell just misses the extra point. I mean, not that it would have mattered because we still would have gotten our doors blown off. But then the other positive, I guess, Nick Herbig is a stud. You want to take that out of the game? Go ahead. Nick Herbig's a stud. Blocks a punt, sets us up at the goal line for Mitch's, believe it or not, second touchdown of the game. Okay? He threw a pass to Deontay Johnson. It was a touchdown. And that was it. That was the entire offense that the Steelers had today. They got blanked in the second half today by a Colts defense that is not terrible, but it's certainly not good enough to pitch a shutout in the second half. Okay, I'm grateful that Michael Pittman's okay. That was a hard hit that he took. Questionable objection for DeMonte Kazee. I'm just saying that right now, okay? Because initially, yes, I thought it was helmet to helmet, and I thought the ejection was warranted. But if you look at the replay, he was in transition of making the tackle. And yes, he was a defenseless receiver, so I understand the penalty part of it, but he was in transition of making the tackle. I don't agree with the ejection, but it wouldn't have mattered because This team just plays with no heart. They play with no discipline. And it just showed today. No discipline on either side of the ball. You go up 13-0, and then you get outscored 30-0 the rest of the way. And what have we been saying week in and week out over the past couple weeks about this defense? Well, at least they're not allowing 21 points. At least we're keeping opponents off the board. This is now the third consecutive game where your defense has given up at least 21 points. Okay? You cannot, and I mean you absolutely cannot, lose 2 straight games in less than a week to two-win teams, both of them at home, and then drop a third consecutive game to a team that's fighting for a playoff spot and not change anything. You just can't do that. But that's what the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to do. I just know it. Okay? This is the way Mike Tomlin preps up his team with an extra 2 days of rest. This is the way that the Pittsburgh Steelers mentally prepare themselves with 2 extra days of rest. I mean, Mitch Trubisky throws 3 interceptions today, for God's sake. Should have been 5, honestly. The Colts dropped 2 other interceptions, okay? He should have thrown 5 picks tonight, but he threw 3 of them, okay? Say what you want about the George Pickens one. I put that on Mitch because he read him too long. The other 2 you absolutely cannot deny are on Mitch Trubisky. And Tomlin doesn't do a damn thing about it until late in the game where he puts Mason Rudolph in garbage time where it doesn't make a lick of a difference. And that's just the kind of coach that Mike Tomlin is. You want to know why? Because Mason Rudolph shouldn't even been warming up on the sideline. He should have been starting tonight's game. Not that I think it would have caused a dramatic difference, but I mean, literally, at this point, Mason cannot do worse than what we have as quarterback. He just can't. And you pretty much just slap him in the face with going like, well, Mason, we're just going to put you in garbage time where we're losing the game and it doesn't matter. That's when you're going to get your chance. I'm not even mad at Mason Rudolph because it shouldn't have been in that situation. And seriously, guys, I will bet my next mortgage payment, I'm dead serious, I will bet my next mortgage payment that Mitch Trubisky is going to start next Saturday night against the Bengals. Because like I said at the beginning, it's December football. You're supposedly battling for a playoff spot. The Steelers are not battling for a playoff spot. Okay? But that's another point that I'll get into in a little bit in this video. Okay? But I'm seriously willing to bet that he's going to start Mitch Trubisky next week against the Bengals. And you want to know why that is? It's because it's the same reason that everyone butters up Mike Tomlin with the type of coach that he is. Because like how Mike Tomlin's never had a losing season, which is just a layer and a cover-up for who he truly is as a head coach. And tonight was on full display if you haven't already seen it over the course of the past 3 seasons. All right? Because like how Mike Tomlin's never had a losing season, Mitch Trubisky's undefeated in his career against the Bengals. Well, guess what? He's going to take that L to the Bengals. And guess what? And guess what's going to happen after that, guys? The Pittsburgh Steelers are pretty much going to clinch last place in the AFC North. The first time that this team is going to finish last place in a division since 1988. So I hope you're happy with what you've done this season, Pittsburgh Steelers. I really do hope so. Because in order for you to get your precious 9 wins on the season, you just needed to win 2 more games. And you blew both of the games that you were supposed to have won with the Arizona Cardinals, the New England Patriots, and you have the audacity to go into Lucas Oil Stadium to play an energetic, feisty, rowdy Indianapolis Colts team. And you just expect to beat them because you haven't lost to them in 15 years? Well, look what they did to you tonight. Look what they did to you tonight. 30-13. No aggression, no enthusiasm, no heart. And I said this in my stream, if you didn't hear it, okay? These guys have all seen The Wizard of Oz, right? I mean, everyone's seen it. Everyone has. Deontay Johnson is the fucking scarecrow from the Wizard of Oz. You know why? Because he doesn't have a heart. All he cares about is dancing around and making himself look good on social media for his TikTok or Instagram or whatever the hell else social media that he uses. He don't play with heart. All right? Mitch Trubisky, I'm sorry, Deontay Johnson's the Tin Man. The Tin Man didn't have the heart, but you get the point. Mitch Trubisky's the scarecrow because he don't got a brain. And if he does have a brain, it moves incredibly slow because this guy's pocket awareness is awful. He never puts his head on a swivel, tries to force passes, just has very low football IQ. That's Mitch Trubisky. He's the scarecrow. Mike Tomlin's the cowardly lion because he's spineless. He's gutless. He's scared. He lives in his fears. And at this point, I would say calling Tomlin the cowardly lion is actually an insult to the cowardly lion. Why? Because at least the cowardly lion had courage. He just never realized it until he met the wizard. So that's an insult to the cowardly lion, actually. And that's what this team is. They're afraid. They're gutless. They're spineless. Afraid of their own shadow. Afraid to get down and dirty. Afraid to make a mistake. This is a far cry from what the Pittsburgh Steelers usually are. And I didn't see a team tonight that took the field to keep their playoff hopes alive and to still duke it out with the AFC. I saw a team tonight that just mailed in the season. That just collects their paychecks. They just collect their paychecks. They go in the locker room. They blast their music around because they know that they're not going to get benched. They're not going to have any discipline thrown at them. They're not going to have the rule book thrown at them. And that starts with Mike Tomlin. Oh, look at me. I'm hot shit. I'm a football player. I make more in a single minute than I'm going to make in my entire life. So after this game, I don't care if we win. I don't care if we lose. I'm just going to go home to my awesome sports car and drive home to my $50 million mansion, have a nice dinner, go to bed, and just go through the motions. That's what the Pittsburgh Steelers are. You guys know that one coworker that you got where he doesn't give any effort at work and he just goes through the motions. He just doesn't care. He could care less about the job. He could care less about the company. He could care less about the employers, the employees, and he could honestly give a fuck less about himself. That's what the Pittsburgh Steelers are. They're a careless employee who just punches in, does the bare minimum work, goes through the motions, don't put any effort in, punch out, and collects the paycheck. All they care about are them damn selves. Okay? And say what you want about the Los Angeles. I know I get all these comments in my streams. It's like, oh well, Mac, at least you're not a Giants, Bears, Chargers at this point, Cardinals, or whatever garbage team in the league there is. At least you're not a fan of them. You know what, guys? I'm being dead serious here. I would honestly rather be in a position like them. Because at least I would know that going into the season, that my team just stinks. They don't have a snowball's chance in hell at making the playoffs. They're not going to do anything. They have little to no one on the team that's worth talking about. And it's just going to be a long, drawn-out year that's just going to be very uneventful, so I don't have to worry about getting mad week in and week out. It's a 100% guarantee. At least I wouldn't be being teased every single year with this crap. You go from 7-4, feeling good about yourselves, the number one wild card in the AFC, and you've dropped your last 3 games. Mainly because you can't beat teams that have 2 wins and are just playing to end the season. And that's what the Steelers are now. They're just playing to end the season. They don't give a fuck about the playoffs. They don't give a fuck about the Super Bowl. All they care about are their stupid narratives that they have with the cowardly head coach that we have. Well, like I said after the Pats game, they're a bunch of lifeless, drab bums that take the field week in and week out. I'm going to treat them like a lifeless team until they get their shit together. And if you're a Steeler fan that, roots for this team to lose and you root for them to tank, because honestly, at this point, losing out might be in their best interest, because you got the Bengals next Saturday night. You got the Seahawks after that in Seattle. And then week 18, forget about it. You ain't beating Baltimore week 18. Okay? I don't see a single win for the rest of the year. And like I was saying, if you're a Steeler fan that's sitting here rooting for them to tank, rooting for them to lose out, look, I don't support it. I don't condone it, because I would never root for this team to lose. I'm a fan. That's all I am. I'm not a PFF guy. I'm not an analytics guy. I'm not, a sportscaster, even though I would love to be. I'm a fan. That's all I am. I'm a fan. I'll never root for them to lose. I will never, give up on them. That is a fact. But I'm sick and tired of the same crap that goes on week in and week out with this team. And if you're hoping for them to lose out because it'll hopefully send a message to Artie II that, hey, we're just not good enough and we can make all the offseason moves that we can or that we want to, but at the end of the day, we're not going to be competitive because Mike Tomlin's still the head coach, and we're not good enough because Tomlin's still head coach. And if you're rooting for that, for changes to be made, like I said, I don't support it. I don't condone it, but I understand it. I really do. I understand what you're hoping for. It's just not in me to sit down here and root for them to lose. But I'm tired of this. Change, like I said, you cannot drop 2 consecutive games to 2-2-win teams and now a third one to a team that is battling for a playoff spot and not do a damn thing. The Chargers, they got absolutely mollywopped by the Raiders on Thursday, 63-21. You know what the Chargers did after the game? They fired Brandon Staley, and they fired their GM. Granted, Staley should have been fired after that wild card game, but at least they're making changes. The Steelers, they're just going to do the same crap next week, the week after that, and the week after that, the year after that, and the year after that. You get the point. I don't even know what to say about tonight. 30-13, you drop it to the Colts. Yinz guys are completely and just utterly embarrassing. You should be embarrassed to collect that paycheck. You shouldn't even take the damn paycheck. You guys play with no passion. You play with no heart. And it's all a reflection of our clown head coach who has no passion, who has no heart, who has no courage, who's scared of his own shadow. I seriously, guys, I'm not even kidding. I seriously think that some of the players on this team, I really do think some of them pee sitting down. I really do. At some point, you'd think to yourself, these guys are men, right? These are grown men playing a child's game. And I really do think some of these guys pee sitting down. I really do think some of them moan when they wipe. Deontay Johnson and Mason Cole definitely do that. But for the rest of them, I wouldn't deny it. You guys are just completely gutless. I'm serious. Tired of this crap. Anyway, let me know what you think down in the comments. I've ranted on long enough, 18 and a half minutes. I am Mac, checking on out for the day. Have a good one, everybody.